Hey guys, and welcome to the John J Radio Podcast. My name is Michaela, and I'm here with...
The breakfast
You stupid. Hey guys, it's Chelsea.
Yo, it's Kevin.
Alyssa,
Kiana.
Ventura,
Rocky. Gabby.
Jessica.
So today, our resident... I don't even know what I'm going to call you. Our Black Girl Queen, Rocky, sent a very interesting video, so we're going to tie that in to today's podcast, as well as some relationship do's and don'ts. So since you sent the video, why don't you explain it to everybody?
So the basis of the video is 3 girls sitting around. They're all friends, and each girl in the situation is a straight woman. One girl in the, let's say A, B, and C. So girl A has a boyfriend, and she's explaining to her friends that during their heterosexual sex, her boyfriend just so happens to like getting penetrated by her, whatever means that, by fingers, toys, whatever they use. And her friends B and C are explaining to her that her boyfriend is now gay. Girl A is defending her boyfriend, saying he's not gay because he's not emotionally attached to men. He happens to participate in a certain type of sex, but he does it with a heterosexual partner, his girlfriend. He does not have an emotional connection to men, or he's not attracted to men sexually at all. And so that's what the topic of this conversation is going to be. The question is to everybody, girl and guys, because they're both here. First is a few things. It's would you consider this male to be gay because he participates in heterosexual sex with a girl, but he likes to get penetrated as well? Would you consider that man gay?
No.
So it seems like this is a universal thing, no?
Yeah.
I mean, you can say yes. It's a safe space to say yes.
See,
but if you say yes, you have to, even the people that say no, you have to
Back it up.
And explain.
So, in my perspective, it's like a guy isn't gay for just liking anal. Like, if a girl likes anal, what does that mean? Like, it's not really so much of a difference because there is a way pleasure can be derived from it. So, I don't see that as gay, especially if it's between a guy and a girl. Because it's in a guy and a girl, that, like, totally cancels it out as gay, especially because one of the main things is it's about pleasure. And being gay is a guy with a guy or a girl with a girl. That's, like, the foundation of being gay or lesbian.
Also, what is the general definition of gay? If anybody wants to just, like, explain it.
I mean, you had a good definition.
So, like, the general definition of gay, even from, like, Google, like, I'm Googling it now, and it's basically saying a person of homosexual, usually, especially of men. I'm sorry. Whatever. Basically, it's saying it's mostly used with men, but it's men and women. But homosexual activity, whatever that includes. And you see, this type of definition is too broad. I don't like this definition.
I think it's just basically...
I don't like that Google definition.
It's just basically saying homosexuality as it applies to men, in a sense.
Yeah.
So basically, guy being with guy. But it's limiting it because some girls, some lesbians... I see why they would keep it broad, because some lesbians don't like being called gay. But some lesbians don't mind it. So I can see why they put as applied to men instead of, like, putting as applies to liking the same gender.
See, I just feel like that definition is too broad, because by that definition, women B and C within the video, that's where they're getting their justification from. Just homosexual activity, which is meaning, in most people's mind, the first thing that would pop up is sex. Forget the emotional attachment, it's sex.
That's like a social definition, though. There's different, I feel like there's two different types of definitions that describe, like, gay. Like, the one that's on Google, which is broad, and it's pretty much censored to everybody's feelings about how they feel about their sexuality. And then there's socially, like, a girl can have sex with a female and she not be considered gay or lesbian. She'll be considered as if she was experimenting. But if a guy has sex with a guy, you're gay. There's no, like, usually when you hear something like that, it's like, okay, he's gay because he had sex with a guy. And even though being gay really mostly has to do with the emotions to it, like, socially, sex is, like, one of the most emotionally triggering things. So that's where I feel like people lie with that.
I mean, I think that's, like, sort of relative, because there are a lot of people who can't take the emotion out of sex, because there are aromantic people who do participate in having sex, but they don't feel the emotional attachment that comes with sex.
Okay, so Brandon just called me, so I'm gonna ask him. So what is it again?
If a girl and a guy is having sex,
if a girl and a guy is having sex,
but the guy likes to be penetrated
but the guy likes to be penetrated
by his girl, meanwhile he doesn't.
Yo, bro. I
Wait, hold on.
No,
Wait,
I
you
want
want to finish again?
Okay.
Kevin's.
It's a girl and a guy.
Okay.
Heterosexual sex is a heterosexual relationship. I hate him so much. If the guy likes to be penetrated, that's his form of pleasure as well as doing whatever he does to his girl. Is he considered gay? Meanwhile, he's not
He said
attracted
yeah.
to men. Wait, he's not
He
attracted
said
to
that's
men.
not even a question. That's gay as fuck.
Even though he doesn't like men,
Even though he doesn't like
Cause,
men,
okay.
he wouldn't want that from a man.
Let me speak on this now. So I get
he
it.
said once you're doing something with a butt. But you know what my friend Chelsea just said? She said that the guys G-spot's in their ass.
It is. That's a scientific
It
fact.
is, yeah.
And when I explain that to a lot of guys, they're like, "What?"
The
I'm like,
guys G-spot's in their ass.
Look like
I don't understand.
Wait, what? I didn't even hear it.
Okay, we understand that it's like not you, but like, you know, is that gay or is that like straight?
He like, nah.
But don't be biased. You have to be
trying to have an open
neutral.
mind
Yeah,
about
be
it.
neutral.
I mean, we all have two holes. Yeah, we all have two
'Cause you have
holes.
two
Why
holes.
not? Why not explore with the other hole?
I think
It
he's
doesn't
learning
make
so
you
much
gay.
today.
And
For me personally,
I have a hot take right now.
That's
go to
gay
my
as fuck.
Wait,
Wait, let me say my hot take real
Even
quick.
if they're having sex with a girl.
exit. No.
Wait.
Let me have a hot take real quick.
No.
What if that guy likes to be dominated? Because even, like, I think in the gay community they're called, like, twinks, where it's, like, usually the less dominant
I'm
male
so much today.
who usually
There's some
who gets
words.
penetrated by his boyfriend. But
that's gay.
that correlates to straight relationships, too, because there are guys who are less dominant who will let their
okay,
girlfriend fuck their
That's the
ass.
thing, but
But
also
that's-
the question is, like,
That's a
you
girl
can
thing.
be a guy that likes to just chill there with his girl doing everything,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean he likes to be penetrated. That
In
doesn't
his
mean
butt.
he likes anything in his butt.
No, yeah, that's why I'm, like, trying to make the distinction between, like,
makes
bringing the
butt-
twink.
What makes butt play gay,
Yeah.
though? Well, really, honestly.
I guess
What
because
makes
I
it
think
gay?
everybody
I
has
think
this
it's-
connotation that
Wait,
gay guys,
They
gay guys
probably
have
see it as
sex.
feminine. You have to do like the position. Usually, people talk about like you can't really get your butt eaten if you're not on your knees or doing something, and that's.
I mean,
normally
butt play. A
associated
lot
with
of women
gay.
do butt play.
And they're
So,
not
They're
considered
gay. Yeah.
gay.
Well, that's
It's
But that's the
society-
same thing I'm
that's
saying for
society's
girls
double
getting
standard.
eaten out. Are you lesbian now? Like, you get what I mean?
That's
Yeah.
society's
Okay, you're
double
saying if like a
standard,
guy
though.
eats that, it is a double.
It's a
This
double
whole thing is
standard.
a
Yeah.
double
Standard,
standard.
yeah.
But you're saying if like a guy eats a girl out,
Yeah.
is she considered gay with
Yeah,
that mentality of a
because-
guy getting penetrated?
Right.
She's considered gay.
Exactly.
And you see, the girl wouldn't be considered gay.
No. So let's let our
So I
resident
don't know.
guy TM have a speak.
Sorry.
Speak
All
on
right. So going back to the video, I understand both sides. Me, I don't think he's gay. If he's getting penetrated by his girl with the dildo or whatever, he likes it from his girl, not a guy.
Mhm.
But I understand her friend's perspective
Mm-hmm.
because they're probably thinking, okay, he may think he's straight now. But you know how you could like change a rule.
They're saying because you're opening that door, now he can go to another like person, whether it's a girl or guy, but they're looking at guy and being like, well, you know what you like, so why don't you
That's
get it
the
from a
same
guy?
thing,
Because
a
the guy
girl-
might know what they're doing. Or
That's
something.
what I'm saying.
guy
Like,
can
the
eat
whole
out
thing.
girl,
That's what
And
I'm
then it
saying.
don't matter if it feel good if it's a girl or a guy. So
Guys,
when I say girl,
There have been plenty of bisexual and pansexual women who have stated that girls eat them out better than guys do.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, okay, but then with that means I'm playing devil's advocate.
So
I'm
do
jumping back and
guys
forth.
fuck guys in the butt better than a girl?
That's what they're
like a
basically
girl
saying.
would?
Yeah, that's what they're
Let's backtrack on that question.
Like,
That's what girls B and C are basically implying. They're like, if you want to open that door with your girl,
What you got?
okay,
Yeah.
she can do that. But imagine going to somebody that's an expert. Now you're going to be gay because you opened that door already. I see where the point of views are coming from. That doesn't mean they're correct.
it doesn't mean that it's automatically gay, but it can lead into that.
I
That's
see.
what
That's what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say.
I also
Yeah,
see where
yeah.
they're coming from, but like to me, it's like sort of a triggering sense in that it seems like it's whole part of the idea that someone can turn gay
Yeah.
because you can't turn gay.
Right.
There's
And
no
I
such
hear
thing
that
as
too,
turning
because
gay.
Everyone says you're born.
Yeah,
Most people are born that.
You're
the way
born
they are.
as your sexuality or your emotional aspect because there are asexual
Certain
people.
things might
But you
develop,
also
I
have to
don't think
remember that, okay, people can be born gay, but some guys in general...
But
what they-
some people do turn gay because look at Caitlyn
No,
Jenner.
this is what I'm trying to explain.
Well, that's not gay. That's
Mm-mm.
trans. That's
he like-
that's
he likes-
transitioning.
Oh no.
Yeah.
He was married, had how many kids?
Okay, wait. Sorry.
Oh,
This is what I'm
sorry.
trying- Yeah, it's fine. This is what I'm trying to explain. You could be born gay, yes. But some guys in general be like, okay, no, I'm going to fight it. I'm straight.
They're
I'm
gonna
straight.
hide
I'm
it.
straight.
Yeah.
So this guy might be saying now that, yes, I'm straight. I only like this being done to my girl. But there's like a chance
Mhm.
he's probably hiding his
Down
real
inside,
feelings. He's like,
yeah.
no, I want this to be done by a man.
Mhm.
That's probably what he's thinking. I'm not saying that's the case.
Yeah,
But there's a
it
path.
could be something, and that's
Is
where
this
girls B
conversation
and C
too
might be
much for
coming.
Exactly.
Oftentimes there is that
Because-
connection though. Like I just feel like a man that
Okay.
necessarily has never thought about his sexuality won't just out of the blue say, you know what, like I want a dildo in my ass. Like I just don't feel like that's just a natural thing to happen out of nowhere. Like that, it must have stemmed from somewhere to want that, because even just growing up in like this type of society, like things like that are frowned upon in some senses. Now we're more open, obviously, like the generation's more open, but like naturally, like that's frowned upon. And like when you're growing up, like men are not talked about being inserted the way like girls have to get the birds and the bees conversation and like
Oh,
you
that's
know
so
blah blah
bad.
blah. So for you to want something to be like, you know, whatever and be penetrated, it's like
I think it just
Where did
takes
that come
one
from?
conversation, maybe a bro saying, "Bro, my girl, I don't know what happened,"
And like,
nah, tell your girl to try this, bro. And then he's like, "Bro,
like,
baby,
and
Nah.
plus,
and
Nah.
boom.
plus I think it's like a social thing as well because like it's so common to see like if a guy says he wants to try anal, the girl is just supposed to like sort of give in to him and let him do what he wants. But there's that meme where it's like, oh babe, let's try anal, and then the girl comes with a strap on and he has like the shocked Pikachu face.
Yeah.
Like,
I had a real life
when you
experience
run.
like that. And that's how I turned that whole situation down. Like I was like, if that's gonna happen to me, like it has to happen to you. And like it wasn't happening. So
Right.
that never happened. But it's just like you gotta think about it. Like if you wouldn't want it done to you, why wouldn't you want it? Why would you want it done to me? And why would I want it done to me? Like what? Okay. Sorry. No,
and like plus for me, like it also doesn't make sense because I get why like the guy's G spot is in their ass, but like other than like going through the motions, what kind of pleasure does a girl actually get from anal?
nothing, it feels like a wet willy.
But this is
I
ain't never hit nobody with a
like that.
I'm gonna ask her
I've never heard that.
It's uncomfortable and not needed. That's basically.
We don't gotta expose our situations.
You know, I don't know. You're sick
Wow,
in my ass and
that's-
then put it in my vagina. No. So I could get
That was the
one.
greatest
No.
analogy I've ever heard.
But it's the same question. What do men get from fingering a woman? Nothing. They just do it because it makes you feel good.
Even
And a
though it
woman-
doesn't. I don't personally don't like that. That's
I mean,
Wait.
if we get on that, we get into foreplay, and if my man don't give me foreplay, he ain't getting nothing.
No personal experience.
Yeah,
No, I was gonna say, like,
Expression
we don't gotta expose
Be-
each of our situations. We don't gotta expose each of our situations, but like
No,
a general
hang on,
basis
hang
on top of everything, it's just like I don't know. Like I understand where you're coming from, Gabby. Where you're saying, okay, if it's getting done to me, it has to get done to you.
Oh no, like that was a joke. I was trying not to have it done, but the main purpose of me saying that to him was just like there's not going to be no pleasure for you to feel from that, because for him, like he was just not interested in it. He didn't
Yeah.
feel like he would be like any type of aroused through that, and he feel like that would probably just be painful in general. It just wouldn't do anything else.
But
So
he
I was
wants
like,
to do it to you.
exactly. So I'm like, where do you think that that's going to stem from with the girl too? Like me saying yes would just me being bowing down,
Mhm.
like allowing you to dominate whatever you want to dominate. But nah, that's uncomfortable. So.
You see, and then with that, like me personally, and then even people I know people that have anal sex. Like it's a thing. And then we all talk about it, like within my friend group, whatever. And it's like we don't feel not like I guess turned off. Like it's for each their own, obviously. And it's always a stereotype that like white girls like it more than other people. But
I feel like we should put a disclaimer right now. Like, none of us are dissing it. If you do it, you do it. We don't care. Like, we're just discussing the implications of it.
Right. So if you do it, what is wrong with being called gay?
a girl.
Yeah.
See, then a girl wouldn't be considered being called gay.
Yeah.
If a girl had anal, they'd be like, oh, she's a freak.
Yeah.
A guy had anal, he's gay.
Like,
The social
It's-
standards.
It's
the social standards of it.
Yeah, well, at least in America, I don't know anywhere else, but in our country.
I feel like with as free as America is, we have like other disparities. Like, Americans are quick to label people. Like, I don't think any other culture labels people as quickly as Americans do.
Bruh, the whole like culture of America is like sick.
It is.
Yeah, that's a topic for another day,
That's
though.
a whole different thing.
That's a topic for another day.
So, relationship do's and don'ts, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that-
I just gotta ask before this topic ends for a do and don't in everybody's relationship.
Is it a do and don't for us?
For each person.
Is what?
If you're-
Is what?
Do or tell me.
There's two questions. There's two questions.
Two
There's two questions.
Okay.
One, oh, maybe it's one question with two. I don't know. Whether you're in a relationship, not in a relationship within this room, would you give your partner anal if they asked for it, or if they were curious about it,
No.
and would you receive it?
I will kindly
No.
decline.
No and no.
No and no.
So I guess I'm feeding into the stereotype as the white chick because I wouldn't mind doing it.
I wouldn't mind.
You wouldn't mind doing it.
I wouldn't mind doing it or him doing it to me.
Yeah, same.
I wouldn't mind.
I would
No.
try.
See,
I don't really know.
I'ma just bring this to the.
Absolutely not.
I'ma just bring this to the
right.
floor.
Like when I'm married and like the sex is starting to get a little boring.
Christmas, holidays,
All right.
Valentine's Day.
Now, I don't want that to be like. What am I gonna have to explore later on? Like,
All I'm saying
See, I
is-
think I explore too much, and that's why I know how to play devil's advocate for both sides. Because I am that double standard where I'm like, I will get it, like I don't mind it, and then, but if my boyfriend would have asked me, can I do it to him, I would like kind of question it,
Mhm.
and I'd be like,
well,
Sir?
Understandable.
I think it is like in society, in this society at least, in America and most, with the setting of like patriarchy, like the woman is supposed to be dominated. So whatever hole you get dominated in, like that's okay because that's your job as a woman to be dominated during sex.
To be
like
the
that's
submissive
still
one.
that exactly
Yeah.
still be submissive. That's still a common like thought process of a lot of people. So I think that's why it's like, oh, that's not really considered gay if a girl does it, but when a guy does it, it's like, no, you're the one who's supposed to be taking charge. You're not supposed to be taking anything.
I think it also like ties into sexual roles because there are sexual roles because there's the dominant one, there's the submissive one, and then there's a switch. So if you're a submissive one, you're not really gonna want to go out of your way to dominate another person. And if you're a dominant one, you don't want to submit to anyone else. But if you're a switch, like you wouldn't mind dominating someone or being submissive to someone. So like you would go either way. You wouldn't mind maybe being the one to put a dildo in your boyfriend's butt or having them penetrate you in any way. I'm sorry, I know like a lot of technical
I had a
terms.
whole question in my head, and I completely lost it.
I know a lot of technical
As the
terms.
one guy in this room, I just want to say this: if I ever get a girl and she comes to me with a dildo, I'm gonna just run away because I don't. This is just me, all right? I don't want anything digging in there.
Yeah.
All right?
Would you give a girl anal though if she wanted it?
If she wanted it, I'll sacrifice my personal
So you'll
ideas
have
on
a
it.
Tootsie Roll, yeah? Yeah.
Oh, man, you making this? You making this hard? Oh,
No,
man.
I'm not judging.
Just an FYI, you have to prepare for anal if like anybody's like considering that. Like you actually have to prepare.
Yeah, there's a lot of preparation that goes.
Yeah.
Lube is a necessary, like,
Lube is necessary.
Yeah.
Too much work. That's why it's a no.
It's a,
Like Chora touched on like a few minutes ago.
just
If you're using, well, you should be using protection, but if you're not, sanitize everything. Like
yeah.
bacteria is a thing,
Right.
and going back and forth in
It's
each
not
hole
good.
simultaneously, I can tell you it's not a good thing.
That's too
Ugh.
much work.
With that being said,
There's like a term for that too. It's like buttercream,
Truffle butter.
truffle butter. Yeah. I was about to say buttercream.
Usually girls can get like infections, UTIs, like
Yes.
so
Yeah.
quick for like no reason. No reason.
Even if you
Well,
just as simple as not
Just for messing with the-
regular sex.
Right.
For messing with the
imagine
wrong
if
guy,
it's
your
women.
pH levels
Like
can
your
get thrown
underwear
up.
being tight, you'll have a whole disease. Like, you know, careful what
Well,
you
I'm
do.
sorry.
Yeah,
It's hard for
yeah.
some, but guys don't realize that because they be in the moment. But that's when you gotta tell people.
Talking about,
See, so,
Also,
thank
I don't
you.
need a condom. Huh? What? You better strap up, son. I don't know what you talking about.
With
So-
that being said, if you're using protection, it has to be 2 different condoms with each hole. So
Yeah.
be mindful. And then I've had this conversation with like my coworkers this weekend, and one of them kind of informed me, and she was like, honestly, like she's not about it, but like she'll be about it if she's just in the mood for whatever.
Mhm.
And she was like, honestly, like she'll have sex in her car or something. She keeps wipes all around. So she was like, if you want to switch and do all that stuff, I need to wipe you. Like we're doing that. And I was like, you just be stopping everything and just be wiping people like a bitch.
Like we on a subway?
No.
Okay,
Just know
you
that
guys
you
can't
pulled
see
out
it. She
fucking
pulled out
wipes.
wipes.
Just know that.
Pulled out some Huggies.
Please just know that.
I got Lysol in my bag and I got Purell hand sanitizer.
Damn.
Oh yeah, I got the hand sanitizer on stack.
Oh, how you got Lysol?
You
Yeah, that's
got
a good
Lysol in
question.
your bag?
It's a travel size.
Let me see
Oh,
this.
like a whole body of Lysol.
No, it's a
You
travel
thought she had a whole can?
She
of
got-
Yeah, I had a big
Oh,
yellow
she-
can of Lysol.
She got a
like-
big ass bag. It might be the case.
Okay, wait, guys. I'm gonna show y'all, but give me a second. But relationship do's and don'ts. Are we gonna move from this anal conversation?
That was a very good pun, and I recognize that pun.
Just to end it, to start off relationship do's and don'ts, gay is more of an emotional connection than sex.
Yeah.
Sexual activity does not mean that is your sexuality. That just means you're into whatever you're into.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well said.
If
Yeah.
I like a woman emotionally and I can connect with her, it's whatever I identify as, it's whatever I choose to pursue.
Yep.
But me having sex with women or having sex with men does not define if I'm gay or straight. Just ending
Yep.
it.
So I think to start like do's and don'ts, I think like we can all agree the biggest do for a relationship is do communicate and do talk.
I was gonna say, no cheating. You can talk to me every day, all day, but if you cheating, like I'm not gonna care. Like, sure. Yeah, talk.
No, but
Communication is key.
yeah, you stole it. Why?
That's what everybody says though, Chelsea.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I was trying to say it first.
Communication is key.
I would be untrustworthy. Like, you can communicate all the time, but you could be lying on your ass.
Yeah, you're right.
I gotta tell you. Gotta know them telltale signs though.
Oh yeah.
Telltale signs. Why you blinking every time you?
Got some dry eye.
Why can't you look me in the eye?
Why you looking down at your phone when you talking to me?
You're so damn short. That's what I'm looking down.
No, I knew a scenario of a girl. What do you call that when a girl's like their eyes are like
Cross-eyed.
Cross-eyed.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a hard one.
Yo,
I was in high school.
Every time you lie, you cross-eyed? That's like...
No, like she permanently cross-eyed.
She just cross-eyed, like
Yeah.
her eyes naturally are like
Okay.
that. I was in high school, and this girl was dating some guy. We were all in gym, and I was, oh my god. And I guess she was cheating on him, whatever. They were younger than me.
Mhm.
And the guy was like, "Oh, if you're not cheating on me, look at me straight." I was rolling. I was so yeah.
Oh,
She was naturally cross-eyed. He was like, "If you're not cheating on
But
me,
he
look at me
didn't know
straight."
that.
Did he know?
No, he did.
Of course
Yeah,
you knew it.
Of course he-
the fuck out of her because obviously she was cheating.
That's funny.
He knew she was
Like,
cheating,
if you're not
so he
cheating,
said
look at me
that.
straight.
Imagine her eyes.
Shit.
This is a different conversation. I'm sorry.
That was funny. Alright. So,
Loyalty is also a big.
Yeah.
It depends.
treat me at the depends.
Yeah. Okay. Let me elaborate.
It depends.
I'm okay with open relationships. Like I wouldn't mind.
Okay, that's.
I wouldn't mind if my boyfriend or my girlfriend.
Rocky's face.
I wouldn't mind if my boyfriend or girlfriend was with someone else. Like I wouldn't mind as long as they told me about it.
Okay.
Like I wouldn't mind that.
Knowledge is open.
I've been in a polygamous relationship. I've been in open relationships. Like the main thing about it is you have to talk. Like I don't care as long as you're not passing anything on to me.
That's
Then
what
it's
my face is.
okay.
That's what my face is.
Well, if you want a closed relationship,
Right.
it's a one-on-one deal.
Yeah.
You signing.
This ain't a team sport,
That's not
all
a
right?
team sport.
It's a one team play a game.
Exactly, and if I find out, we're gonna have some consequences and repercussions. Okay,
And then definitely
Okay,
need to
versus-
check before you guys have sex because he
If
can be
they are
bringing
in
from.
love.
No,
Yeah.
if he's close to
Oh, yeah.
before, he's not a virgin.
If they sexually active, check them.
Oh yeah, that's another.
That's a
question.
standard for
Do you-
everything.
Would you like do a STD screening on your
Yes.
new guy?
Yes,
Okay.
totally.
I thought it was
Wait,
just
wait.
me.
On my
How
new
would-
guy
quick
or
question, quick
girl.
question. How would you bring this up to them? Because you can't just
Tell
be
them
like,
straight up.
Tell them
straight up.
That's 21st century.
Be like,
I'm just
every
saying-
Tuesday, Thursday, Wellness Center does free STD checking.
No,
Just letting you know.
I bring
Letting
this.
you know that
I-
little information.
I bring this up because I'm saying this. I don't want to be. I'm walking with my girl. We're having a good day. Oh, so we going to the clinic?
How like long? In
That's
your
what I'm
scenario?
asking. I would say, let's say
I
a
mean,
month.
don't-
Then
A month.
You don't have to
I
go
think that's a
No.
conversation you can
Just
have.
see the
As long
Okay.
as it's before you guys start to
Have
mess
sex
around, but
yourself.
also it should be something that you first talk about because there's things like herpes that are like transferred really easily.
Yeah.
You don't even have to have sex. So before someone even lays
You
their
literally
lips
share a
on you,
spoon
you
and
need
you
to like,
have
can I see your
herpes.
papers?
all right.
Because that's important.
Yeah.
Especially in
And there's a lot of them that have undetectable symptoms about it, so you could have something and not even know.
Yeah, sure.
My thing
That's
is,
the
your
scary
scenario
part.
a month in, that should have already been a conversation.
Yeah.
I assume if both of you have already been sexually active and you're not both celibate at the moment,
Mhm.
that some type of kissing has gone on within a month, some type of something has gone on in a month span. That should already have been a conversation.
Yeah.
If it's like something like, I think about this all the time where I ask my friends, I'm like, when can I bring this up? Because I don't want to make the other person uncomfortable and I don't want to seem like, oh, you're disgusting already, but I don't know you. And I've had
Yeah.
scenarios where I already was sexually active with them and then I thought about it. And then I was like, oh shit, maybe I should have already had this conversation. And I feel like once you have sex, it kind of just like ruins everything. Because it's already like, well, you already started, so if you already have something. And that's not always true. I think you should still be confident enough to respect yourself to be like, okay, I need to sit down with you, and if you want to have sex with me, these are my standards for you.
Yeah.
I don't think that should be a scary thing. Because me bringing it up, some people take that rude. When I'm like, oh, like, can we get, and I'm not like, oh, you want to go get tested. I'm like, let's go get tested
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
That's how. That's
And
how.
people will be like, why do I need to get, do you think I'm dirty? And I'm like, I don't think anything. I just want to see the Carfax. I just want to
Show me the car bags.
driving it is good to go. Like, it's just, I don't know. So,
And I feel like that ties in with when you having talks about when you want to have sex. Because I know there are certain people who want to wait a while in their relationship to have sex. That's perfectly okay. Say if you want to wait probably a 3-month period before you have sex. Probably in
Yeah.
probably in that week or two before you can still get checked, but it has to be an open discussion about it. And I feel like there shouldn't be as much stigma as there is around it. Especially in this day and age where basically everyone is pretty much fucking everybody.
basically everybody.
That's why we listen.
Fun fact,
why that-
ATL has the highest HIV rate. Just saying.
Yes, it does.
Fun fact.
All right, so what are dues?
What are dudes? Okay.
Dudes, be consistent.
Yeah, be consistent. That's really
Consider-
big.
Considering
No, I
my
understand.
time.
I feel like being consistent is a little bit more important to me personally, because if I'm really observant to my partner, so if I start seeing them switching up, especially because I know personally I have insecurity issues. If I see someone starting to change up with something, I'm gonna be like, did I fuck up? Did I do something wrong? You moving differently. Is this something about me?
I feel like you can look at those little things too, not calling out,
Yeah.
not answer my text messages right away, or
if you go from FaceTiming someone every day to once a week with no explanation, I'm gonna be like, what's up?
I think that the problem is in certain situations is we get too used to speaking to somebody every day right off rip. That's not how normal. No, I wouldn't say normal relationships are, but you have to grow to that point before you guys start to FaceTime every night. Because when that stuff happens, when they get into a rough patch in their life, and then all of a sudden it's you're not here for me. There's this big thing, this big miscommunication. Whereas you guys should have really grew to that point instead of just jumping there, and that brings on a lot of.
Is anybody here that person that excuse me, is not psycho, but I feel like guys more see it as psycho. Where the girl is like, oh my god, you're not calling, you're not texting, you're not this, you're not this.
No.
Anybody hear that?
I'm not.
I'm not.
If I was
And
ever
if
in a
you-
relationship, I'm not the type of person to like check up on everything you do. I'm not gonna check your phone every day because that's a whole other job.
I'll be like,
I don't need your password. If I can see that you lying just by looking at you.
Nah, I will admit I'm on the clingy side. Like, I will text like a certain amount of times a day. Not like 50 texts a day, but I might like send like 10 texts a day, even if they don't respond. No, like.
As a guy who has had a clingy girlfriend before and who has run away from that, I respect what you said about not like texting every day, like 10 times a day.
I will stab you with a fork. Don't call me out, Kevin.
Viewer discretion advised.
Kevin, I know some of your
So-
exes.
It's just like, okay, text you once in the morning, good morning, blah, blah, blah. That's how I am. We have a little convo. I see you whenever I see you. Like, with me, I don't have to see you every day of the week to know that I love you, but I want to be with you.
See, but like,
I'm the type of person that I don't like being smothered at all,
Yeah.
and I like to have my own space. Like I'll stay in my room for days, and you won't even see me. And I like being by myself.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be that boyfriend that's gonna be like, "Where you at? Where was that?" Oh,
See,
you
but-
text me. I can't.
I should add a bit of context since I feel like all of you are jumping on me now.
Yes.
Like, I've been in long distance relationships.
Yeah.
All right.
So it makes sense to text a little bit more because you're not seeing that person.
Yeah.
Understandable.
So, yeah, like, I'll text them a bit more to, like, I know we'll both get busy, but, like, long distance is a little harder because, like, you need that little bit more of, like,
Yeah.
reassurance. So I'll send them a meme that made me think of them and be like, oh, I thought of you.
Yeah.
Or I'll be like, oh, this happened and I just had to tell you this. Or, like, something like that. Like, when I say I send, like, 10 texts a day, I'll be like, a good morning. And, I saw this and it made me think of you. Oh, like, it's funny-ass joke. Or, and then, like, a good night or things like that.
If she that's different, that's cute. Right?
But if he not texting
Yeah, but,
me
like-
back at all,
No, like,
not liking that.
comments.
But you gotta recognize, some days you might just be that busy.
yeah.
Okay,
But then it's like-
okay.
But, like,
Look at it as a
after the
whole
fact.
week. Of a whole week, you don't text her
All right,
back.
wait,
Like, nah.
Not to sound like the devil up in here, but I've done that before. It's not like I've been cheating or anything like that. I was just genuinely busy the whole week. Like, I wouldn't even text. Yes.
You couldn't check up like.
You
I
couldn't,
wouldn't even.
like, Bob was
Like, if I'm in the
like,
zone.
you couldn't have just said for, like, 5 minutes, like, I'm
Now-
gonna be busy.
Or you
Now
can
let me
text.
speak.
I was gonna say, but of the 24 hours of each day of that week that you were busy.
I wouldn't even text my parents. That's how bad it would be. I'd just be focusing on what I'm doing.
All right,
You
well,
would
that's
say that you're gonna
That's
be
your parents.
busy.
Yeah, like,
Wow.
Hey, babe,
you couldn't find a minute.
Yeah.
I'm
Did
not
you
gonna
say
be
you were
busy.
gonna be busy?
I was
Because that
gonna
would be
say
understandable. Say, hey, I'm gonna be busy this
Hey,
week.
see, this was my fault in the end
Okay.
because
Okay,
I wasn't
we should-
mature enough to think about this at the time.
So you did.
I was just like, I gotta focus on my
Yeah.
thing. I'm sorry, but know that I'm.
Like-
hours in the day you didn't have.
Or at the end of your busyness,
Okay.
did you say, I'm sorry, I was busy
Because
this week?
Like-
this is where it was my fault. We were dating for like 2 years, so I would assume by that time she would know that. Okay,
Okay.
I'm not gonna fuck any girl behind your back. Talk
Yeah.
to anybody else. Like, you know how I am. Like,
Right, but things like that still hurt.
That's
And
what-
you
Yeah.
gotta understand. Yeah,
as
even
a-
in 2
as a
years,
man,
you got
I
that
think
thing
men
in your
think
back of your mind, like
That like, oh, she gonna be
It's
good. She's
Men
good.
think their timing is our time sometimes.
Right.
Some people think like our time is their time.
Yeah. I agree I was wrong. I know I was wrong.
at least you admitted it.
Yeah.
So.
I was an idiot. I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
front.
like-
I wouldn't do that now.
Okay.
A mega don't for me is if you're gonna be busy. If you're gonna be busy, say so beforehand. Because I hate. It's been mainly guys I've had this with personally. I hate a guy who would be like after like a week of not texting, be like, "Oh, hey, sorry, I was in the hospital." I'm like,
What?
I'm like, what the fuck?
You're in a coma? You couldn't text me that you're late?
Like,
My fingers were broken.
I know some
Like,
attention from here.
and yeah, and like during that week, I'll have this sense of like, what's going on? Like, they didn't say nothing. Like, they just dropped off the face of the earth. Haven't sometimes I'll check their post if it's been like a week, and if they haven't posted anything, I'll start going like, what's up? And then then they say they're in the hospital, and I'm like, oh shit, and now I feel guilty for it.
Because in the hospital.
No, this was what I'm putting out one example. I'm putting out one example.
Wait, did you ask him which hospital?
No.
See, that's your problem.
But some guys are bad liars too. Like they won't text you, and then like, what happened? Oh, I was, hanging out with my aunt.
Then you see on his Snap story, he was in the club for 2 hours with his boy. I'm like, for real? Come on, you gotta do better than that.
You see,
So.
it worries me like when people come out with like certain type of lies because like even though I don't do this in my relationship, like if I'm not gonna be at work or something, somebody died, I got into a car accident, like that's how if I'm pulling out or something like that, I'm like, you know, my uncle got in a car accident, like, you know, it's been a rough day, blah blah blah. So like when people, well, if for me it's like I will take something that has happened like maybe years ago that doesn't really affect me that much, and I'll be like, this is what happened. Boom. Just like, so you know, you have that exaggerated lie, or like if you handed in something late to a teacher and you like, oh, this happened.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I just hate it when they lie and you can prove that they lie. 'Cause like what Chelsea said, like,
relationships is different. It's really different.
Yeah.
There's no reason to.
but people will still do it because, like, okay, I'm gonna point out another singular experience. I was with this dude. He told me he was hanging out with his family. I see him on his Snapchat on a date with a girl.
That was his cousin.
Huh?
No, it wasn't. I met his family. You know which one I'm talking about, Kevin.
Oh, shit. Long lost cousin?
I met his family. I would have known if that girl was someone in his family, and it wasn't.
You seen him on a date with someone else?
On his Snapchat story, he was on a date with another girl.
You see-
What if it was like a best
One,
friend? How would you
did you
feel
love him?
about
Look,
like,
by
best
this
friend of the
point,
opposite sex?
there was 3 years that I have been with him and known him. Granted, it was on and off. It was 3 years that I've been with him and known him. I've met all his friends. I met all of his family. This was a girl on his story I had never seen before.
Yeah, your friend.
I was gonna say new friend.
Because the thing is, okay, I understand the assumption of going like, okay, it's probably it's a girl he's talking to behind my back, but I get it. A lot of us guys are idiots. I'm not gonna front.
But to say you're hanging with
Can I
your
finish?
family
Can I
and be with another girl.
Can I finish?
No interruption. Sarah has just joined the radio channel.
But yeah, Sarah just
Hello.
interrupted me. Hello.
No, I'm now in the conversation. You can talk, Kevin.
Oh,
Sorry.
thank you. So I get it. His lie was idiotic, alright? Because a lot of us guys are dumbasses. Not even gonna front. Not even gonna try and back it up, alright? Like, we're not smart at all, okay? But it's up to you to ask a lot of questions, therefore, that you could just bury
I'm gonna
him.
ask you so many
No, he
questions,
should
why
just
can't
tell
just say
you.
what it is?
Yeah, like,
No.
why do we have to interrogate your ass
Exactly.
to get the truth?
Because we are idiots.
Okay, but if I'm asking you,
Go get smarter.
if I'm asking you
Listen,
straight up, who was that bitch on your
millionaires.
Snapchat? You shouldn't try lying to my face.
But, you know, that's,
Okay, I
that's my
understand where
cousin.
Kevin's coming from because guys are dumbasses. So I hope you did dub him right after you see
Of course I
him. Because
did.
One,
I'm like,
Snapchat has
fuck
a feature where
you,
you can
done.
custom view people.
Yeah.
He could have blocked you for a good second.
You better.
And he didn't. That
Yeah.
implies.
Oh, I forgot about that though.
Say, you need to just take your time and just fuck a fuck boy.
What
the hell?
Please ignore the current information. Okay.
Now get you a girl.
Is that you guys are arguing over if a guy is dumb and a guy is not dumb.
Get you a girlfriend.
Kevin, that is the wrong. Yeah, it's not a valid excuse. Like you cannot just be like, oh,
We're
guys
dumb.
are dumb.
No, we are.
Like no, because you guys have brains. It's like
We don't
loving
use
your
them.
mother. It's like if you have a mother and your mother is texting you,
You gonna
you
answer
gonna
that text
fucking answer
message?
your
No,
mother.
you're gonna dump that message.
So you should treat your
You a
mother.
bad
You should
child.
treat
That's what I
your
say.
girlfriend
Look
like
at how
your
the
mother.
guy treats their mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you don't respect your parents, I can't be.
You're
There's
not
a
See,
check.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, no, that's
That's your
tricky.
mom.
I say be careful.
That-
That's
That one's
tricky.
tricky, yeah.
Because what if you have toxic ass parents?
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, well, if you don't respect me and my parents,
Yeah.
it's a problem.
Let's
I
look
would say
at
that's
that's
on
on
period,
parents.
so-
Like, what if he's just like, you know, when some parents coddle their children? Too
yeah.
much? It can be that situation.
Okay, I was gonna say
If
that.
he's
That's what I was
coddled,
Like-
that don't got nothing to
That's
do
like-
with
That's a man
respect,
child.
though. That means
No, but
He's coddled to the
Mama's
point that
boy,
he doesn't know any
yes.
better. So it's like he
Please don't say
expects to
mama's
be
boy.
like, oh, I did something wrong. Oh, it's okay. No,
That's
because now
that
you're dealing
white
with
boy
me.
experience.
That's that black boy shit.
Excuse
I
me?
don't black boys.
white boy experience. Because if a
Black and
black
Spanish.
Call
boy
her mom
was
Dorothy.
to tell me,
Oh yeah,
Wait,
you can't know
what?
by your first name.
yeah, that he's
Basically
coddled.
implying like, okay, he did something wrong. His mom is like, oh no, it's okay, it's okay. Now he's however old he's dealing with me. Keep in mind, I am
Everything
20
he
years old.
goes
I
through.
deal with people way older than me sometimes, and it's like I shouldn't have to like raise you as somebody
Can't
27.
raise no man.
Nobody knows that. But anyway,
We never messed with K. Michelle did that.
Hey, K. Michelle.
my point is like at 20 years old, I shouldn't be having to like
Raise somebody
raise or
else's
teach
child.
common sense at 27 years old. Like you're not. We're supposed to be in a scenario where you're looking at me like I'm immature, and then when I call you out on your shit, those are the same people that's like, oh my god, but you're this and you don't know anything. And I'm like, let me tell you something about yourself. From my perspective, you're using certain situations as like not even a free pass. Like how do you say like they try to get out of stuff really quickly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's like
I
you
agree.
should know better to some extent, or at least acknowledge that
You
okay, I
are
was
a
wrong in
fucking
that situation.
adult. Some of these men have kids, so now you're an adult with a kid, and you still acting like I never deal with somebody
The
with a
kid.
kid. Though I'm gonna get back to the fact. But I'm just saying, you're an adult with a kid, or you're an adult that have kid siblings.
Mhm.
So we're all college students, right? We're all college students. So you should be 20, 25 max, you know the vibe. 30,
25?
maybe in college. So you
I mean, we got some outliers up there where they're 85 in college,
That's
so.
all that's
Alright,
the dating pool. The dating pool.
85, Michaela.
Gotta get that sugar daddy money!
Wow. Okay.
Not ready
You
yet.
gonna pretend like we didn't hear that?
But my point is, you're old enough to see what's right and wrong, okay? So you can't just say, like, oh, me not texting you back, or me not coming to see you, or this and that, and the third. Me cheating on you is something that I
I can't help
I
because
can't
Yeah.
control. Yeah.
Wait.
No.
That I never understood. Some guys and girls too
Mhm.
try to validate cheating.
Yeah,
I've
and
never
Jay-Z
known.
did it. Jay-Z validated his cheating.
Did he?
Yes,
Yeah.
he did.
Did
What
he?
he said?
What did he say?
I don't know if he said
I don't
anything.
recall.
He did.
Yeah,
I know he
Beyonce
apologized with the
did
album,
their
that's
whole
all I
thing,
know.
but I don't know
What
what
he
he
did,
said.
he validated it.
What did
Through
he
his
say?
music. He was like, basically he was just trying to like apologize. Like, you're just apologizing. You're validating it. You're like, oh yes, it was okay, and now we need to move on.
That's like another thing. Like, I don't understand, like, why people want to feel so guilty after cheating. And then it's not till the consequences happen.
Yep.
That
they
they-
never told you.
Perfect example!
It's a fact.
Usher and his Confessions Part 2.
Oh, shit.
Was that the song that I was offended by? No, that was
No.
No,
It was
where it's like,
Just have a baby.
my
with
chick
that
on the
shit.
side has a baby, and the first thing I thought is, what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna tell you.
Oh yeah.
Like, if you feel that strongly about someone, how are you gonna cheat on them?
Cheating is inconsiderate. If you want to cheat,
Just
okay,
be single, bitch.
even devil's advocate, like
Exactly.
understanding a cheater, and that sometimes it might be emotional. They just need a physical out, whatever you call it. Just leave.
And I got
But
Exactly.
you gotta understand how dynamics of relationships works, because sometimes in a relationship
you can't leave.
allow that openness.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about.
And there's some relationships where you can't leave.
That stay after the guy cheats, like whatever, like that. Because I know a lot of people.
No, but I'm talking about open relationships.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that
I brought that up already. I brought that up.
Like,
But
I
there's
understand it.
there's certain relationships where they can't leave. Cause like there's certain relationships where like say the guy or the girl is being funded by their partner, like they're gonna find it hard. Like okay,
Like the guy.
like you know how early like a century ago, they used to have like the dowries.
Yeah.
No, like the dowries and shit in America. How the husband would get money
Yeah.
from the bride's family to keep her, basically. And like he would,
That's slavery.
he was basically her source of. He was basically like her source of income. It would be hard for her to leave
So
when
what
her
is that, like, an
family is
arranged
pushing her
marriage?
to
So it's
him.
like an
Parents sold
arranged
like daughter
marriage.
to a man.
But I
Yeah.
think that's like arranged marriages, because I've heard that in arranged marriages,
Yo, how much
they
is
give
that?
them money
Yeah, it's
for you
similar
to
to
make
that.
like daughter.
Yeah.
Something
But
like
in
that.
some,
Or a girl.
In some countries, that still happens, which is really fucked up.
even
Especially because they be double the age.
wait. Let's bring it all back.
Wait, are we talking
Yeah.
about arranged marriages?
It's too many.
We said okay.
Yeah, we said wait.
So,
So,
Alright.
open relationships now to fucking arranged marriage.
But like,
All right.
back onto the main topic. But like,
Back
Do's
to
and
the-
don'ts.
Do's
Yeah,
and
I was like,
don'ts.
do's and don'ts.
We don't know anything about arranged marriages. So
Exactly. Dudes
I got a
don't.
question
So-
though for for a chore because she's in one, and then Michaela, I don't know if you're in one, but you said you
I'm
experienced
in one too.
Yeah. Is your boyfriend here?
Damn.
Like New York vicinity
Yeah, he's
here.
in
All
New
right, so we
York.
ain't talking about you. Everybody with like long distance relationships or that have been in one, what are do and don'ts for you guys? Like we obviously know the don't is like obviously like don't cheat.
Yeah.
But
It's the same
That's
though.
right.
It's
That's
the
what I was
same.
gonna say. Like Michaela said, the communication,
what
like,
are the benefits?
and then
of
like
it?
I said,
If
Um,
you develop
I would get out.
Exactly.
It's so
I
annoying.
feel like you can
said you
develop
could.
like a stronger bond. Like I haven't been in a long distance relationship in years, but like that dude was like my best friend. And even though like we had met after we broke up and stuff like that, but he was my best friend, and it had nothing to do with sexual like anything. It was like we just built something before that, so the sexual was just like a bonus. So for some people, stuff like that works out. I feel like, however, if we had started off like not in the long distance relationship and then went into the long distance relationship, that's when like it would have started becoming
Yeah.
issues.
It can get real tricky with that.
Yeah.
Because if you start off like close and say, I know this isn't for a chore, but like she and her man started close and then he went away. But like if they had a super active like sexual relationship, that going away could have been super destructive for them. But
But then again, you gotta have self control.
yeah.
yeah,
You're a human being. You're not a dog.
I mean,
There we go.
I'm
There's-
really confused though. Like
there's some people. There's some
You're
people
not
with
a dog.
medically high libidos that they just can't
Then you
stop
just-
themselves.
That doesn't always
Yeah,
help.
because when Brandon was in
What you
boot
mean it
camp,
always
it
helps?
was
It doesn't.
like a couple months.
That's
So, you
what-
know, he has to do what he has to do. But like now, like we're okay. We see each other like what, every month or so, so it's not too bad.
it's
But
not. It shouldn't
We
be
do
that.
talk on the phone a lot and stuff like that. So
Benefits,
And-
you feel like you just build
She
like
be on
like
FaceTime
Gabby was
every
saying,
day.
like she has a stronger bond.
It depends on like how much they talk. Cause like for me and mine, like we didn't like develop a stronger bond. Like it was the same as before we went long distance. Like nothing really developed. But I'm not like exactly a good example because he started acting up when he went away. And that Kevin already knows what I'm talking about because I've told him. He started like acting up. He started going to parties more, like doing more shit that he wasn't doing before. So that made me start getting questionable of him.
I'm sorry.
Like that. But my thing is, when you're not around your significant other, it's kind of hard to do this thing where we call relationship control.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, women and men do this. We try to control our relationship and try to control what the other person does. And sometimes we have to sit back and remember, I'm not in a long distance relationship, but I'm in a relationship where I see him a lot. Yeah. But I'm just
That's
trying
like
to
a
say,
question.
it's still a lot.
But I feel like
Yeah.
that. It just depends. I feel like it depends on the structure of your relationship because
Yeah, that's what it
even
boils
though
down
Brandon's
to.
not here and I'm not here with him all the time. He still goes out with his friends. I still go with my friends, and it's like, okay, like call me back when you're done,
You have
or
respect.
like when you're done.
Yeah.
And I feel like you have to have that. You really have to have that trust.
Yeah.
Because he goes. He's in the Navy and there's girls in there, and he goes out with girls and guys. Like there's a big group of them, you know. So it's like you just have to know, like, okay, you're gonna go out, have your fun, but to an extent, you
Yeah.
know. So
Don't push boundaries.
So-
And as long as
So-
you know respect, then I think it's fine.
Respect and self control.
So I know we did segue a lot, but we are going to wrap it up here. So these were our relationships do's and don'ts. Hopefully they were helpful to
There's
you.
one don't we forgot about.
What?
Don't order off the dollar when you got McDonald's on a date. All right.
Actually, you can.
Why are you
Yeah, what did you just
Ignore it. Strike that from the record.
Guys.
On a first date to McDonald's, that's not a rule.
First of all, I didn't say first date.
I'm
All
fine.
right.
Oh.
Yes, you did.
I said a date.
That shouldn't be a date.
No.
No, once.
When times are hard.
That could be our
Guys,
next topic.
We're going to
Alright, 'cause
discuss
I was
this
like,
more.
Dates could definitely be the
But
next topic.
we got to close this out now. So bye.
bye.
Bye.